Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to the Stellar Life Show. And today we're going to be having a conversation around burden, the 5 Ds to your potential. Interestingly, if we look at the flyer for this event, we notice that there were just three things there. It was discover, it was develop, and it was deploy. But as I started preparing this presentation, I just thought about it. Okay, if I discover my talent, I now develop it, then I deploy it. Is that all? I thought about it. No, you want to duplicate yourself in others. You want to, how they say a leader without a successor is not a good leader. You want to put something for the next generation. You want something that posterity is going to bless you for. So we need to duplicate it. And then we've heard a lot of Miles Moore really talk about potential, and I'm like, okay, so to what end? The end is so that I die empty, so that I can say, like Paul, I have fought the good fight of faith, even though this is not a religious teaching per se, but you can say, oh, I've done my part, I've done my bit. If I were to die now, I can say, yes, I have started something, I have done something that I would be remembered for. And I hope that these thoughts that crossed my mind as I was preparing for this class is also what eventually happens to us. One of the things I said in the publicity video was that we're going to have an epiphany, which means that we're going to have one word or just one defining moment as we have this class. And I really, really do hope, my desire for each and every one of us is that we really get to that point. So this is our outline. Our outline is introduction, we define potential, some facts about potential, steps to burden, potential redefined, remember, and Q&A. I don't know why that remember is besides steps to burden. I think it was a mistake. So every time we hear Miles Monroe, maybe during he wrote a book on maximizing your potential, and there's one other book on potential he wrote. One thing that I've heard from when I was a child was talking about a sermon where he said, where's the weirdest place on the surface of the earth? And people were mentioning different places, somewhere that has gold, somewhere that has this one, that one. There were a lot of names popping up. But then he just goes on to say, no, that the richest place is the graveyard. And at first, it didn't make sense to me because I'm like, how can the richest place be a graveyard that is just full of skeletons and bones, stench, and all of that? And then I really thought about it. Let's read it together. You can read it in your mind. I'll read it out. It says, the graveyard is the richest place on the surface of the earth because there you will see the books that were not published, ideas that were not harnessed, songs that were not sung, and drama pieces that were never acted. And we can go on to say innovations that never saw the daylight. And I totally agree. And this resonated with me. And I just want you to take a moment to also think about it. Do you know that there are several ideas, or maybe one idea that you have thought about, and you're saying, okay, I think I'm going to make this work next year or next 2 years. But what if Jesus comes tomorrow? It means that your idea will never see the daylight. And that's why in our last class on imposter syndrome, one thing I mentioned was the way you know an imposter is when the person wants the time and the conditions to be perfect. There can never be a perfect and a time where every factor would be tick. You have to ensure that you make progress over perfection. As you make progress, you begin to see the things that you can fine tune. As you make progress, collaborators will come and say, oh, I see that you need help in this area. I can help you. Oh, I can suggest this to you because I see that you're already doing something, but I cannot even suggest when I can't see you making a move. That's why I'm just imploring each and every one of us, that dream, that idea that you have, start small. If you look at most of the Fortune 500 companies in the US, where did they all start? In the garage. So start somewhere. Maybe that your one room, it might be that space, it might be that wall. Just start. Don't wait for any perfect time or perfect conditions, right? How would the story be? The only thing that starts from the top is the graveyard. So please start where you are and climb up. Consistency is what matters in this gain. So please just show up and show up strong. Be excellent at every phase or every stage that you have found yourself. So I hope this resonates with us. The graveyard is the richest place. Why? You see so many people that said, next year I will, tomorrow I will, this I will. All of those things, they're not a date. Like, it's not a particular day. You cannot say, they cannot ask you, so when do you want to achieve your goal? You will now say, I want to achieve my goal one day. What is one day? Why don't just choose a day and say, not one day, but day one? Not one day, but day one. And what day one would that be? Is it the 22nd? Is it the 23rd? It's up to you to make that decision. There are some decisions I cannot make for you. The only thing I can do is speak to you, try to encourage you, tell you you can do this, you can do that. But in the end, it is up to you. The best that we can do is to encourage you. Afterwards, my dear friends, it is up to us. So I don't want us to be part of that statistic. I don't want us to be part of that statistic. I will say, oh, the graveyard is the rich. If the graveyard is the richest place, it should be because the other bodies there did not make a move, not because of I, Stella Uwichwe. I made my move. I tried. I failed. I came back again. Because there's this very interesting quote that I always think about. It says that a dream written down with a date becomes a goal. So you have a dream, put a date to it, it becomes a goal. Then that goal, when you break it down into steps, it becomes a plan because you know, oh, precept upon precept, I need to take step A before I take step B. And a plan that is backed with action becomes a reality. If I want to do this, what are the resources that I need? Where do I need to start from? Can you please mute your mic? Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Thank you. So I hope this quote resonates with us, and please think about it. I'm talking to you. I don't need to call your name in particular, but you know that idea, that book, that dream that you said, oh, I'm going to do it next year. Please, this is next year already. Start. So defining potential. So what is a potential? The one that I like the most is a potential is all that you can be that you are yet to become. All that you can be that you're yet to become. And when I think of potential or potentials, what comes to my mind is the life cycle of a butterfly. Sorry, I don't have the picture here, but the life cycle of a butterfly. You know, initially when you see a butterfly, you really don't even see a butterfly. You see the egg. And sometimes you don't even know how the egg of a butterfly looks like. You just know that you're seeing something, you see an egg. But the thing is, the butterfly doesn't just stay. If the butterfly remains an egg, it will never become a butterfly. It will never come to that stage of beauty and maturity where we all admire it. So it's the same thing. If the version of you, Abraham, remains the version of Abraham that you are, without, improving on some of the things that you have on your inside, you would never be that Abraham that you would celebrate, and you would never be that Abraham that gets to be on Forbes Black community. But it's because of the potential that you have started harnessing. That's why Forbes can look at your CV and say, okay, we think you're good enough to join the Forbes Black community. So you cannot just remain that way. The same thing, it goes through stages. So the egg is the way it is. The egg now grows to be larva. And then the larva also improves to pupa. And then the pupa now, it goes on like that. So we now see a beautiful butterfly. How many of you don't admire the egg? You don't admire the larva. You don't admire the pupa because you don't even pay attention to it. Nobody knows you. That's why at some point when it looks like you are building or you're like in your process or you're like in your wilderness journey, it looks like nobody's even paying attention to you. Nobody's standing up for you. Nobody's nominating you for any award. Nobody's giving you any accolade. Nobody's doing. Why? Because you're still in your raw form and your crude form where people cannot even recognize you. Like it's not time yet. But when you now become the butterfly that emerges with the colors, with the wings, you can move, you can take flight. Everyone now begins to say, oh, he just came out of nowhere. Oh, we didn't used to know him. Nobody comes out of nowhere. They've paid their price, they've paid their dues, and now that they now have the recognition, you think they just came. There's no such thing as overnight success or overnight sensation. There are several nights of untold story behind. That's why they'll say the secret of great men are in their stories. days where they were not even doing what we know them for. If we know the story of Dangote, you know that he didn't start with selling his own products. He started with selling other people's products. And ultimately, he moved on to start his own product because he had created a name. Because people had bought so much from him that when he now started they were able to trust him and rely on him to say, we think he's going to do a good job. Oh, yes, let's buy from him. So the same thing. What are you going to start? Like I said, I don't want you to just listen to the stretch of this class and then just go home and just do nothing. No, I need us to pick just one thing. Just one thing. If it's to sit down with yourself and ask yourself, if it's from this slide, you ask yourself, okay, so what can I be that I'm yet to be? Stella wrote that all that you can be but are yet to become. Okay, so what can I be? Can I be the best so in Africa or in wherever? Whatever limits you want, ceiling you want to put for yourself is up to you. But what can you be that you're yet to be? I like this from Miles Moro as well. Like I said, I feel like he's the father of potential, always talking about potential. Your future is not ahead of you, it is trapped within you. Like layers of onions, you need to unfold, you need to evolve, you need to emerge. And don't be afraid, particularly when some of us are single. You can easily take risk. Maybe you feel like, oh, I think that I shouldn't be in this career, I shouldn't be in this occupation. I think this is where my likes is tilting towards. I think I should learn this. If you are able to change, you're agile, you're flexible, you can make that drastic decision. But as soon as we marry, sometimes you might not be able to take that drastic decision. You might be able to take it eventually, but not as fast as it would have been if it was just you. So take those risks now, make that move, make that change. And I can assure you that it's better to live a life where you tried and it didn't work than to live a life of regrets and start thinking, what could it have been? Please. The first definition here says that potential is a talent, a gift, or ability that exists within an individual, but it is dormant. So dormant means it is not in use, it's just there, and it's ineffective until it is discovered, developed, and deployed. So simple, that's what a potential is. So begin to ask yourself, what are those things? What are those things that I have on my inside? Oh, I think I'm a good writer, but I've never even written a piece. Let me start from LinkedIn post. Before I start here, I want to write a research article, or I want to contribute to a journal or something. When you discover it, develop it. So what are the facts about potential? Each and every one of us has potential. There's nobody that is born. There's nobody that is born without nothing. No, there's nobody that is born without nothing. There's always something that person can do. You know how you have some friends and you tell them, oh, wow, you're really good at this. And the person is like, oh, really? I never knew, I never paid attention to it. Everyone has a potential and we all have different potentials. Yes, what Stella is good at is different from what Abiola is good at. It's different from what Ruth is good at. Ruth might be very good with painting. Great. Stella might be good at speaking or creating curriculums or slides or something. But we all have something. We all have something that can profit us. We all have something that can bring us to the limelight. So, like last week when we spoke on imposter syndrome, the problem is you now look at it and say, oh God, I wish I could draw. And then you say, I think I really like this drawing. You abandon the one that you have, that you've discovered. You did not develop it. You want to discover another one. And then you go and say, Ruth, can you teach me how? Of course, Ruth is going to teach you. But before you even get where Ruth is, because Ruth is also one who is given to continuous learning, Ruth will continually up her game. So you're trying to catch up with her. Imposter syndrome, self-esteem issues. They're like, why can't I be as good as Ruth? Why can't I be? Because you neglected what is yours. Are we saying you can't learn another potential, all of that? No, you can. But I'm just saying that you have yours. Pay attention to yours first. And then you see areas where you can collaborate with Ruth without necessarily learning about being an artist or how to paint. That's where leverage comes in. And that's another class entirely. I think we'll be having that in the next 2 weeks. And then the more you use your potential, the more you discover your potential. And the more you discover how well you can use it, the more you also know the opportunities that are bound, the possibilities that are there for you. You also strengthen it, like you become better. So I'm talking now. I'm teaching now and it looks like, oh, it's flawless, it's simple, it's this. She has not really said MMM. That's because I have been doing this. It's a skill that I've been honing over time. So it's something that if you, one of the things I always say, if they say one thing that they can wake you up for now and you do it flawlessly, is I can anchor events, I can speak, I can do anything that has to do with talking. It's my forte. I cannot have imposter syndrome. But there are some things that you tell me to come and do. I can do them, but not as well. So if we are going to rank them, I'll give my speaking 100%. So the same thing, which of your potential would you give 100? Which one would you be willing to do? Which one have you discovered? Which one of them are you learning? Which one of them are you going to deploy? And the last one, he said, potentials remain useless until it is discovered, developed, and deployed. I know some of us might say, oh, but I have 5. I have 5 potentials. Yes, you can develop five of them, but you can start with 1. As you start with 1, you will see, okay, I'm very good at graphics. I'm very good at drawing. From drawing, you say, okay, I think I can do graphic design. I think I can do 3D animation. You are improving. As you're improving, you're seeing you're discovering other potentials that you can improve on. If this is making sense to you and it's resonating with you, I'd like to see our comments in the session. Just say, yes, I understand. Yes, I can relate. Very true. So true, whatever. And so the first step is discovery, or to discover. So a discovered potential remains a discovery until it is developed. So imagine going to a field, and then when you get to that field, you look and then you see gold. And the truth is, I've heard people say, I've not seen gold in its crude form, but I hear that when you see gold in its crude form, some of us might not even recognize it. Some of us might not even appreciate it. You're like, what is this dirt and blah, blah, blah. You have discovered it, but you did not pay attention to it. So you just left it there. So it will not shine until you pick it up. That is the process of development. Until you pick it up and say, okay, let me fine tune it. Oh, I think that there's something I can do with this. Oh, this is how I'm going to do it. So a potential, it is what it is until you develop it. So I find out that I am good at speaking. I have discovered, but then I just left it like that. It's at best, what it will be is I am good at speaking and nothing else. But until I now tell myself, okay, let me look for opportunities to express myself, maybe talk somewhere, join Toastmasters, do something. That is the way to development. So the first step is discovery. I have identified that I can do all of these things. And there are different frameworks that can help us identify this. So I have another slide. Maybe I'll just run through that briefly at the end. I just thought about it that besides just explaining it, because I didn't think it was necessary to put here, I separated it. We can use what we call SWOT analysis to identify our strengths, our weaknesses, the opportunities for our strengths, and the threats that can affect our lives from our weaknesses. So SWOT analysis, what are your strengths? What do you like doing? What are the things that people commend you about? What are those things that you would really, if you are not paid for, you would gladly want to do it? Those are the things that we can list as our strengths. Your weaknesses are what are the least favorite things that you don't even like doing? What are those things that when you do, people complain at we have these friends that always say, please, this is not your calling, stay in your calling, stay. So you already know that, okay, so this is not my strong side, this is not my forte. Instead of me to struggle to want to do this, I can outsource it, I can, find a collaborator to work on it with me on. And there are some weaknesses that you really have to work on. If you're going to be a leader, there are some things that you cannot afford to say, is my weakness, just the way I am. That's how I was born to be. No, that's already you having a fixed mindset. For example, if you're going to work in an organization successfully, you need to know that you're going to work in teams. So you can't say, I'm not a team player, I'm a solo person. I like to work alone. I like to do this. No, you want to go fast, you go alone, but you want to go far consistently. You want support systems. You can't do anything alone. You can't do anything alone. When they say, oh, when I hear people say, oh, I'm a self-made man, you are not a self-made man. Because if two people, parents, did not come together to bring you to life, to nurture you to adulthood, I don't think you come and say you're a self-made man. No, nobody is born in isolation. So there's not such a thing as self-made man. So really, think about it. What are your areas of your weaknesses? Are you too shy? Why do you have all of that? That's where your weakness is. And because you've identified your strengths, you'll be able to know the opportunities to look out for. Okay, so what kind of jobs can I apply for? These are the kind of jobs I can do. This one I cannot do it. If for weakness again, you now want to say, okay, so what can my weakness do to me? Threats. The threat is that every time you go for an interview and they ask you, can you work in a team? And you will say no, definitely you're not going to get the job, because nobody is looking for a one-man pole. Fine, we want people that can work on their own without that are self-starters, highly motivated, but we want people that can play in teams, because your ideas get better when they're fine-tuned. When you get someone who is playing the devil's advocate to say, what if it does not go well? What if it goes wrong? What if it does this? Those are the things that make brainstorming very, very interesting. So check your weaknesses and the threats that it can pose to you in the future. One of the things that my boss told me, that not just me and my teammates, one time we're having a conversation, was that as an individual, there are certain things that he thinks that you should watch. And he was saying that if you're a guy, you should really watch how, if you are open to promiscuity, that you should really nip it in the bud before you get to the top, because that can lead to your fall. And like my pastor will always say, if you plan to fall, don't bother to rise, because your crash will be so great and you might not recover from it. So if you're a guy, very importantly, and I think that's good, and it shouldn't be just one-sided. If you're a female or you're a male and you've identified that, oh, there's some bits of promiscuity. Now, this is not part of the class, but I think it's a very good information. You need to work on it, like deal with it. This is also not a Bible class, but the part in the Bible says there are little foxes that spoils the vine. Identify those little foxes, nip them in the bud before they cut you short. Yeah, so this is discovery. So I came up with some questions that we can ask ourselves, just like a guide. So this was the guide that I came up with initially before I now thought about it. There has to be some frameworks that has been created by scholars, and that's where I saw the SWOT analysis. And then another one is the Johari window, where you know things about yourself, what others know about you, what you don't know about yourself, and what others know about you. I'll share the template with us, and it's something that can help us. But these are also questions that can help us. What is your deepest desire? What are the things that you like? What are those things that when you come to a place, it makes you angry that those things are not right? That might just be a pointer. What stirs your passion? Do you like to read books? Whatever it is. I just try to put some things in front to help. And where do you produce the best results with the least effort? For someone like me, you tell me to come and MC an event, I just do in less than 5 minutes. I just say, okay, how many hours? 1 hour. It comes easy. 5 minutes is ready. For some other people, it's stress. So what is that thing that you are gifted for? For some people, you tell them, let's make moi. They're so excited. There's so much. So if you tell me to come and make moi, the way I'll be thinking about it, I'll be like, why can't we order it? Must we make it? I'll begin to find excuses. But there are people who somersault are doing it. So that's what they are gifted for. What flows naturally out of you, like what comes to you naturally. For some people, it's event management, event hosting, they can quickly set up party, they can do decorations, all of that. It just comes to them easily. So the fact that it does not come to you easily doesn't mean that you are not good. It's just that that's not what you are gifted for. Find your place. There's a place where you fit into in the scheme of things. Next is, what do people see or say about you? What do you feel peace or fulfilled in? What is that recurring thought that comes to your mind? What can you give 100% of your energy? What do you like joining people to do? What are you inspired about? All of that. So like I said, these are questions that can help us. Also the SWOT framework, and then the Johari window is also very important. And we said that if you leave something at discovery, the best it will be still discovering, but you need to go to that stage where you can deploy, deploy. The reason why you deploy something is because you can develop it, right? So now, development. An undeveloped potential cannot be a benefit to you or your world, because really, if you discover something and you don't pick it up, you don't clean it, you don't polish it, you don't make it better, it's the way it is. That's how it will be. It will not be beneficial to you. It will not be beneficial to me. It will be beneficial to no one. And you don't want to leave it at that state. You do not want to leave it at that stage. So you want to make a difference. And then you be asking, okay, so how can I develop my potential? There are several steps listed here. First, if first starts with your imagination, you begin to think about it. Okay, I see that I'm very good at this. To what extent can I go with this? How big is this? Okay, I have several potentials. You know, I mentioned that we have several. I have several potentials. Which one will give me more money that can make me better position myself for the others? And this is where meditation is coming, because you're thinking about it as you're writing it, taking the SWOT analysis, the Johari window, answering those questions, you're already meditating. And that's what I would advise that we write when we're doing this sort of things. Because when you're writing, you're able to put things in perspective. You're not just saying, you're not just telling yourself, you're not just keeping it in your thoughts. How they say the faintest pen is better than the sharpest memory. You're putting it down to say, okay, if I say I want to become a footballer, just using the analogy, I will make so much money. And when I make that money, I said I'm passionate about kids with maybe Down syndrome or autism. I can build a teaching hospital that would have, this. And then because I'm now a global star and I'm well known, I can get the United Nations to support me to achieve this. You begin to put everything in perspective. So that's even visioning. You're visioning it already. You're seeing the possibility, how big it can be. And then you now set a goal. Like you said, a dream with a date is a goal. A goal with steps, they are plans, right? So you want to do all of that. And then even when you're a footballer and you're unable to set up that hospital yet, you can support, you can volunteer. That's why we see, I think it's Alex Iwobi who is supporting this campaign against the killing of wild animals. Now, maybe it's something he's passionate about, I don't know. Or maybe it's just something they called him to do it and they're paying him for it. But if it's something that he's passionate about, he's already lending his voice because of the fact that he's first a footballer. Because if he was not a footballer and he didn't have that popularity, they might not call him to come and, because nobody will know him in the backside of where, in his village or where he is. So there are some things that if you don't start doing now, you actually would never have the opportunity to step into that next thing that you want to do. That's why you cannot say, I don't want to start now. I'm waiting for the perfect conditions. There are really no perfect conditions. No perfect conditions. Just like when we started this, before some of us joined, there was no power supply. And I was really hoping, I'm praying, I was saying, God, please, they need to bring the light. And I could have just said, because everywhere is dark, let's not start. But we started, and in the course of of having a conversation, the intro, the lights came in when we just had Abraham and Drew. Thank you for coming early. And the lights came, and the feeling was great. But sometimes you need to take one step before you see the next big thing. Training as well. Sometimes we need to get training. If you have a very good voice, fantastic voice, sometimes you need to train to maybe sharpen that voice. You need to know some of the things to eat and not eat. That's why they say if you're a chorister, you don't take cold water. You don't take, well, that applies to some people. It doesn't apply to some people. But me, it doesn't apply. I'm not a chorister. So if you're going to be a chorister, your regimen or the way you're going to live your life will definitely be different because of the potential you have chosen. As much as Cristiano Ronaldo likes me, I cannot convince him to drink some things he doesn't want to drink. I'm sure we remember that time he had a press conference and they gave him a certain drink and he pushed it aside and requested for something else. That shows you the discipline that comes because he knows his potential. But me, if you put the soft drink in front of me, I'm going to drink it. But because our journeys are different, the trainings we're embarking on are different based on our potential. That's why you shouldn't even compare yourself with another person. I think someone going to the gym and you're like, the person's already slim. Why is the person going to the gym? Do you know if the person is battling with an ailment? Yes, I see that, Abraham. I actually don't want to mention it because we don't know if in future those who are going to be supporting our career. So I'm just trying to be careful with that. Next thing is practicing. Practicing. As you practice, you get better. It didn't used to go flawlessly like this. So there are times where I'll do but as I keep practicing, as I keep learning, I see Obama speak, I see Oprah Winfrey speak, I see all these people do something. I'm like, this it's because of what they know. Because I'm one of the school of thought persons that believes that if you know something and you know it well, I'm not supposed to stutter because you know it. This is just me. Of course, it's not cast in stone, and it might be different from another person, especially maybe if somebody really knows it and the person stutters naturally, or the person is a stammerer and the person stammers. I will not say the person doesn't know it. No, so it doesn't apply for that person. So next is develop a growth mindset. Always think of can do. Can do. What's the next thing? I tried this, I got burnt in my hand. Okay, so what is the learning point here? You cannot say because it didn't work that you're not going to give up. No, you give up. How? We go again, powerfully, stronger. You cannot say you're giving up. Give up where? For where? In this place, we go again. So keep at it. Have a growth mindset. So now deploy. If this is making sense to you, please, I would like some form of encouragement in the chat session. And this is just so that we know that we're all flowing. Because I'm also using different networks. The network for the phone is different from the network from the laptop. So that just in case one trips up, I know that nothing is frozen and we're on track. So thank you very much for listening. I appreciate. Thank you, Abraham, for that. That's helpful. So the next is deploying. Deploying. So the tagline here says, when you do not deploy your potential, it remains crude. It remains unrefined. The best you will still be still that discovery stage. Okay, you have discovered it. Because once you start developing, as you're developing, you're already deploying sometimes. As you're developing, you're already deploying, you're already saying, okay, I'm going to Toastmasters. Before you go to the big stage, while they are training you, you'll be having interclass sort of debates or interclass presentations amongst each other, amongst your peers. So it might look like, it's not a big deal. I'm waiting for that big stage. First conquer this small stage, conquer local level, and then you can now go global, right? So when you do not deploy your potential, it remains crude. Thank you to everyone that has just joined recently. I can see that the number is increasing. Thank you. So what are the steps to deploying? First is that you should not be afraid. Like I said, this is not a religious class, but one of the exciting things that I've heard, but I've not counted about the Bible is that the Bible has fear not 365 times. So it means for every day you have a fear not in the Bible telling you, prosper, fear not. Abiola, fear not. Akinyemi, Toby, fear not. So it means that you can do it. Don't hide. Don't cower, especially when it's your potential. Imagine somebody that knows something hiding. Please, don't hide. Don't hide. Fear not. Do it afraid. If you do it and you fail, you've just learned how not to do it. So imagine all the innovators or the inventors that we have in the world. Do you think it was the first time they made a thing that it worked? Of course, it was not the first time. It was not the first time that they made a thing that it worked. The man who made the bulb, I can't remember how many times, but it was over 900 times, I think. Is it 999 times or how many times? He did not stop. For some of us, we've done something only 3 times. The first time you wanted to present, you wanted to say is, you went to say was, they laughed at you, you dropped the mic and say, I'm not doing again. If that was how the man that made the bulb did, do you think we'll have lights today? So go again and go better. Be just better prepare and don't let anything deter you. Please, fear not. Like I'm not just saying this to you, even to myself. Sometimes when somebody tells me about an event, I'm like, I sure I can speak to those kind of persons. You now think, oh, imposter syndrome. But what do I tell myself? I'm like, the way they gave birth to that person is the way they gave birth to me. Is one head that the person has, 2 ears, one nose. I have one nose. They are humans. Please, we go. They are not aliens. Speak. Do not be afraid. And don't disqualify yourself. Especially when you have not even gotten there. Don't disqualify yourself. Make your potential known. Make that gift known. If they ask who can do this, if you can do it, put up your hand. If it's something you're willing to do, you're like, okay, I can try. I'm not perfect, but I can try. And every opportunity you have, showcase it. So other things that are not in this slide that I put there is steps to deployment. Look for opportunities. It's in the development part. Look for opportunities to volunteer. Who is already doing that thing that you like? Or is it a role in the office that, okay, there's a department in HR called learning and development, and I like to teach. So anytime they say there's an opportunity for staff mentorship or staff teaching or something, I'm very happy. I jump to it. I'm like, okay, yes, guys, I'm so happy to volunteer because I like to teach. I like people to learn. I like people to get developed. I like people to have the right information. It's something that I'm really, really happy and excited to share. So every opportunity to showcase my potential, I do not even hide from it. Pay me, don't pay me. It will be in my portfolio. If they ask me, where have you done this before? I'll mention the name of the organization. They don't want to know whether you were paid or not. Did you do it? Yes. Can we ask somebody? Yes. Do you have picture? Yes. Is there recording? Yes. So every opportunity you have, volunteer, train people. See, what you know at every stage is enough. You graduated from university, they say, come and talk to undergraduates. You're like, what will I talk about? What can't you talk about? You've gone to NYC. Tell them how to prepare for NYC. There's always something. You just recently married. You're like, I'm just married for 1 year. Yes. Come and explain to singles that are not even married at all how 1 year in marriage, or 2 months in marriage, or 3 days in marriage, how has it been? You always have something that the other person doesn't know about, because your backgrounds are different. So your experiences will definitely be different. Another person can come and do this presentation, and the illustrations they'll be using would be different, but they'll still drive home the same point. So don't say they have said it all. No, they've not said it all. We are waiting to hear your voice. Please say your own. In fact, next week you can do your own flyer and say potential unleashed, living the best of your life. Why not? Please, there are people that want to listen to you. Like my pastor will say, to those who you are sent to, you're a miracle worker. But those that you're not sent to, you're a noisemaker. No matter how much some people speak, some people are just waiting for another voice. They're like, I'm tired of this voice. Like Paul Fo said last week, he said there are no new messages, there are only new messengers. And I totally agree, because this class on potential is something that you can go online and go and check YouTube, and then you see Miles Muro talk about it. But you're here because you don't want to listen to Miles Muro. You might actually be here because you are supporting me or you like me, and I deeply appreciate it, but it still means a lot, right? So please, training, volunteering, every opportunity you can. In fact, if nobody gives you platform, create your own platform. Do flyer, go live on Instagram, even if it's one person. Talk to that one person like you're talking to the auditorium in Pollinated Church or Davido Ideko's auditorium. Speak with so much passion that when people come, to listen to it, they would see that this is quality, and they won't even know that it was one person that was there. They won't. So please, by all means, create your own talk show. Go for whatever it is that you want. And when I talk about step 4, duplicate, what I mean is generational impact. The graveyard is the richest place. We don't want it to be the richest place anymore. We want to give it all, if possible. Generational impact. What do you have that posterity can be grateful for? Who can say, oh, because Toby shared this thing with me, my life never remains the same. The moment Toby mentioned this word to me, my life took a great turn, and there's no way I would ever write the story of my life without writing Toby. Do you know, like, that's like the greatest testimony of a person, for someone to attribute their reason for living or doing great things to you. I feel like your greatest investment is not just in buying cars and houses and assets, but impacting in people, impacting in lives. That's what I think. But of course, we're entitled to our opinions, and we can choose what we think makes more sense to us. But I just think that when you change a life, it goes on to change more lives. Like, it keeps the light burning and keeps it shining, right? So, generational impact. So for me to thought about, how can I duplicate my potential? One of the ways we can do that is that mentoring. You know, it's people come and meet you, come and be my mentor, come and be my mentor, come and be my mentor. If you can, do it. Another way you can also duplicate your potential is having products. So you might not be able to, as you grow, at first, you might be able to mentor 1 or 2 persons, but as you grow, you see a lot of people come in, oh, please, can you mentor me? Can you mentor me? Can you mentor me? And then you can say, okay, so what are the most frequent things that everybody that is saying, mentor me, mentor me, mentor me? What exactly is it that they want to learn? Okay, so you might say that, oh, they want to learn how I make money, or how I manage money, or how I multiply money. You can decide to say, okay, I'm going to do a course on seller. That's a product. Next one. I'm going to do a course on seller and do a financial fitness course. FTC, financial fitness. So anybody that comes and say, come and mentor me on finance, you'll be like, I have a course on seller. You can make it free or you can make it as a token, right? You can go and listen to it or watch it. If you do that, it's my voice, it's my face, so you definitely get everything you need. That's the product part. After that, they can still come to you and say, I still want to have a one-on-one with you. Now you're now creating services and you can start to charge for it, because like my pastor will say, where there's a voice, there's an invoice. And I think that that's right. Where there's a voice, there's an invoice. Counseling is free, but consultation comes at a fee. Maybe I've told you, go to my YouTube channel, go to my podcast. You still say you want to hear from me. I will send you my invoice. I will send you my rate card, right? Services. You can also decide to say, okay, I want to have an institution. We've seen people who have left this world and then they had their own university. We have John Hopkins for health and other related courses. We have different names, universities that we decided to create. Some are specialized. If you want to learn something, maybe about there's this department in Oxford, I forgot, one Bladvick or something, about, it's a school of policy. So if you know you want to learn public policy, you know where you're supposed to go to. If you want to go to Oxford, they have their specialized school. So you can decide to also say, I think I should have a school, but a school should be named after me, or there's an existing university, I can collaborate with them to say, I want to have a leadership course or a leadership this, and you create that institutions. Some can say, well, I just want to have a foundation where I'm going to give a quarter of my wealth to. I'm going to keep it in trust, where anyone that needs this help can always go there to access funds to, get better, whatever it is. These are ways that you can duplicate your potential, and your name would live for as long as possible, even when you're not here yet, even when you're not here anymore. I mean, organization, you can decide to create a business and all of that. However it is, in fact, you might have other ways that are not on this list. If you have any, you can share. It would be nice for us to have more. And then the last one is dying empty, where I said, like Paul, you can say, I fought the good fight of faith. You can say, I came, I saw, I conquered, veni, vidi, vici. That language, you're able to say it proudly. And, one of the things that I think about whenever I hear this word or thinking about dying empty is Beyonce's song, I Was Here. And I know some of us would have maybe listened to it, at inspirational events or motivational events, we always play. But for me, it was about the lyrics, because I feel like it was very, 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 very deep. And I just took a screenshot and to share it, and then I'll just read some of the lines that I really like. It says, I want to leave my footprints on the sands of time. No, there was something that I left behind. When I leave this world, I'll leave with no regrets. Can you really say that? That I'm leaving this world with no regrets. That's every time she goes on her tour. She's always taking it a notch higher, the excellence, everything she's putting there, because she knows what she's doing. So that thing that you're doing, are you really giving your best to it? Are you giving your 100%? You're just doing it like, it's not my father's job. I can't come and kill myself. I can't come and go and die. All those kind of things. No, that's not the attitude you should put. No, very wrong. Because you're starting with someone's business, but eventually you know that you might have to start your own business where you have to grow. Is that the attitude you're going to take into it? Because how you treat someone's business is how you're going to treat your own. And if you say, no, me, I don't start my own business, but you're going to get to the top. When you become an executive director and you see people doing the same thing, how would you feel? It says, I was here, I lived, I love, I was here. I did, I have done everything that I wanted. I want to get to that point in my life where I can say, I've done everything. I want to go for bungee jump. I want to go for a scuba dive. I want to do this. I want to do that. I have my bucket list. Do you have a bucket list of things that you want to achieve? So that when the opportunity comes, you don't start wondering, so what am I going to do now? No, write them down. Dream as far and as wide as you want to dream. It's free to dream. They don't collect money. They don't say, oh, this night you are going to bed, you will dream. Pay. No, it's free to dream. You can even sit down and dream. Like you will see open vision. Your eyes is open. You are here. You've watched a movie. You see them do some things in Paris, Disneyland, and you're like, yes, I'm going to go there. And when I go there, this is what I'm going to wear. This is how I'm going to do it. When I see Kilimanjaro, this is what I'm going to do. Dream is free. Nobody will collect money from you. Nobody come and stop in dream and say, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. You have dreamt two dozens of dream. It's okay. Nobody. So please dream. She says, I want to say I live each day until I died. Do we really live each day, or we just exist? We just wake up and just go, grumble, do the job, come back, sleep, and then you now wonder, what did I even do in the month of October? Nothing. Why? You're wasting. It might sound wicked, it might sound harsh, but really, you are wasting. As much as I'm doing my job, I also find time to do the things that I love in between the day. I try to, if you follow me on my WhatsApp status, I try to dance. I try to talk about something. I try to post on LinkedIn at least every day. If I don't post every day, at least once in 2 days, I just try to show up for the things that I love, let me live. Some people are lucky where the job you are doing is in line with what you're passionate about. In fact, perfect for you. Some people, that's not the case. So you have to find time, even if it's 1 hour during your lunchtime. Me, I use my lunchtime in fact, I maximize it. I use my lunchtime. Anything I want to do. If I don't do it very early in the morning before work starts, my lunchtime, I'll write it. Contents to shoot today. What song? If it's a Bible verse, what Bible verse? If it's a new song, what new song? But I make sure that I live every day. In fact, for this class, if you know I prepared for this class, this is my notepad. I have advertising 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I literally create scripts and content just to come and invite each and every one of us for this class. So you might think, Stella, is it that deep? It might not be deep for that person, but it's that deep for me. That's how important that I take it. I want to say I live each day until I died. I know that I had something in somebody's life. The hearts that I've touched will be a proof that I lived. Whose hearts are you touching? I'm not saying breakfast type of touching hearts, right? That I made a difference and the world will see. I just want them to know that I gave my all. Can you say I gave my all? I did my best. I brought someone or several people some happiness. I left this world a little better just because I was here. You might not be able to touch the life of everyone in the world, but just one person, just make a difference. I was here, I lived, I loved, I was here, I've done everything that I wanted. And it was more than I thought it would be. Because sometimes when you help one person, you think you're helping one person. And when they come to say thank you, they're coming with their mother, their father, and you're like, wow. I remember one time where I saw a guy on crutches, and the crutches were not comfortable. And I was like, we can actually donate crutches though. And I reached out to some of my friends, and then we did we named the Purple Christmas, and we donated crutches to Igbobi General Hospital. You needed to see the prayer, and then we paid some bills for some people that were dead that they weren't going to discharge because they could not afford. Was it much? No. In fact, the hospital bill that I paid for was 13,500. So imagine, because of 13,500, somebody is held in the hospital. So you might say, that money, 20K is just small. It can't make a difference. It can make a difference. It can make a difference. It will go a long way. The guy I saw with the crutches was almost bent over, and I'm like, why can't you get a crutches at your side? He said, crutches is expensive. I said, wow, God will provide for your parents. When he left, I just decided to go and find out how much is crutches there. And when I went, it was 8,000. I was like, I can't believe this. Because of 8,000, that guy will now be bent over. 8,000 naira, and that was when my friends and I gathered, and I think we bought 27. And they were so happy. In fact, I was just wanted to donate. They gave us letter of recommendation. In fact, there was one day they called me and said, thank you, man. You're the one that donated crutches. I said, yes. They said, please, there's somebody that needs prosthetic leg. It's not expensive, 2.5 million. If when they said it, I said, God, you have to bless me. So some of you be saying that I don't want too much money. I don't want too much money. You can do good with a lot of money. Please, want too much money. There are people in the world that will need that money. You know when they called me and said 2.5 million, I told you, man, sorry, it's me you're calling, it's me, that small girl. It's not like it's one big madam like that. 2.5 million, just like that. But I wish it was something that I could do. So please dream big, dream wild, because you can do a lot more good when you have money. So potential redefined. Where could you be if you if you use that your potential, who you could have been. If Tiger Woods had not taken golf seriously, we might never know him. If Serena Williams never took the racket seriously and her training seriously, we would not know her. If Kobe Bryant or Steph Curry did not take basketball seriously, we will not know them. Muhammad Ali did not do the boxing very well. We will not know him. If Usain Bolt did not run, we will not know him. Just several names that we can mention. If Bishop Oyedepo did not answer the call, we would have not known him. Because even if he was the best accountant or maybe chose another potential, we might never know him. So I just want you to reflect on who you could have been, where you can go to when you start deploying this potential, and the goals that you could have achieved. Thank you so much for your time, I really appreciate it. So what's holding you back? Why can you not just make it happen? Let me tell you, this class that we're having is something that has always been on my mind, and I'll be like, I'll procrastinate. I'll say, oh, I don't have a good phone. I did not have a good phone, but I had somebody that volunteered to be my graphics designer. But I never utilized his potential for 1 year. He was just there. I was saying, until I buy phone. Okay. The week that I bought phone, he just sent me a message, sorry, ma, I can't help volunteer again with your graphics because I just got a job and the job is overwhelming. Imagine, I was waiting for perfect condition. Why didn't I use the Techno phone? I was waiting for iPhone. I'm okay. Now iPhone has come, graphic designer has gone. I now had to wait, and as God would do it, God gave me a good job, and now I can afford to pay the graphic designer who is doing all of these graphics. So there will really never be a perfect time. So please just start and make it happen. And remember, the goal is to die empty. But to die empty, you need to just start. And all you need to do is try. Try one, fall, try again. Don't be afraid to evolve. Oh, they know me as a graphic designer. How will I tell them that I don't want to do graphics again? I want to do animation. Please, don't be afraid to evolve. Your goal is tied to your gift. Your normal is so basic. So aim higher than normal. I just want to be a normal life. I just want to be an ordinary person. Cannot be ordinary, extraordinary every day. And your profit is tied to your passion. So what are those things that you're passionate about? There's a way to monetize that your passion. It will be another class another day, and you can profit from your passion. Try and fail, but don't fail to try. So it did not work. There was one day I had there was one day I organized this class. First time I organized self-esteem class that we had last week was in June. Oh, my brothers and my sister. With all the adverts that I did, nobody came. Nobody. It was only me and my neighbor. And that's because I went to use my neighbor's house because I didn't have lights in my house. Nobody came. It was just me and my neighbor. I was so sad and downcasted. But eventually, after like 45 minutes, somebody joined. But I was this is I'm telling you, it's not like it has not happened to us or I've not experienced. In fact, when the person joined, I was so sad that I didn't even speak. I didn't even say anything. I just waited for the Zoom to just time out. And I just left. Because I was just really sad. But did I say I should not do it again last week? I just said, self-esteem. Nobody will come. Nobody will do this. But we go again. Even if it's only one person, we will start. Thank you, Abraham and Uju. In fact, they came very early. I was like, we'll start. So we first gisted before we started. So your gold and treasure, they're not always found on the surface. That's why you have to develop your skill, develop your potential. You have to dig in. You cannot sit on, if gold or crude oil was on the surface, everybody will not sell their father's land or anything because they know what is there. You have to dig in. I know that when you dig in up to a certain point, you see water. You have to go past. You have to keep digging in. Keep digging in. And the journey of 1,000 miles starts with, I hear the people say the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. It's not start with a step. It starts with a step taking. Are you going to take that step today? You can answer to yourself. So you know, say Stella is shading me or catch yourself wherever you are. You know yourself. And then continuous effort is key. It's not strength or intelligence. There's some people that are very intelligent, but they will never start. Nobody will ever know them. Nobody will ever know them. So you just start. As you start, you begin to sharpen yourself and get better. And you will not be caged. You would fly freely. You will shine. Each and every one of us will know you. You know, I will celebrate you as well. So I've come to the end of today's class. I want to thank you all for staying. I really, really appreciate each and every one of us. Please, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat room and we're going to treat it. So I'm going to stop recording now.